Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Vanguard Tactics. I'm Stephen Box, and if you are interested in Warhammer 40k, then you are in the right place, because every single day while we are in this pandemic of coronavirus and we're in lockdown, I go live to answer your 40k related questions, or maybe I pick a topic and we'll discuss it. Now, Vanguard Tactics supports every single way to play the game of Warhammer 40k, but we take a little bit more of a sort of more competitive mindset when we play, looking for things like good tasty combos, efficiencies, and really ways to get the most out of the models that you have, your army list, and really play it to the best of your ability. And that's what I'm all about. Is I'm all for sportsmanship and also helping you become the best player possible without sort of jeopardizing the way in which you want to play the game, or maybe that it should be intended to play. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, guys, jump on in the chat. And it's day 37 now, which is incredible. I had a great show yesterday with legendary Paul Murphy from the Forge the Narrative podcast. So me and him sat down, we just had a really good chat about what he originally got into the hobby, what he's been doing to keep himself busy, and also we had a really good chat about some different topics as well and answered some of your questions. So today I thought what we could do is, if you guys, obviously welcome, please join the chat, join in, say hey, and if you can hear me as well, that would be great. Obviously, just as a quick mic check for everybody. So I thought today what we could have a little look at is the Greater Good Psychic Awakening. We haven't looked at this yet, and if I can find it, we can dive in and take a little cheeky look at some of the tank aces I'd like to look at, some of the guard stuff. So let's have a little cheeky look at it. It's been a while since I looked at this, so you're going to be getting a sort of very fresh view on it. All right. Where is it? Greater Good. Here we go. Hopefully the old battery doesn't die. Now, okay, so guys, we've got the Astra Militarum name generator. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to generate a name, and then for the rest of the show, you can refer to me as, I need a dice. I need a D6. I need to find some dice. Here we go. Right. Got my blue metallic dice here. Oh no. Got an old Vanguard Tactics now. Got my two metallic precision cut dice here from D6 Dice, so you can check those guys out if you want some awesome dice to make a great noise. Listen to that when you're rolling. Oh, lovely. So what we're going to do is we're going to make me a name. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. All right, ready? Oh, hang on a minute, camera. Steady, lad. Okay, we've got a 1 and a 3. So that's 13. So that is, my first name is Heckler. Okay. Heckler. First name, Heckler. Second name, here we go. Well, that's my Cadian name. Or it could be, I'm probably more of a Catachan, I think, really. So, yeah, we're going to go for Gright. Okay, that's my first name, Gright, because I'm definitely a Catachan. Second name, 65. Look at that. Oh, Gright Pain. Yeah, that's my name, Gright Pain. So that's what you guys can call me from the rest of today, is Gright Pain. Yeah, look at that. So I've got the name generator. You can make your name. In fact, I'm gonna give Brian a name. Here we go. He's got 63. I think he's like a Vestroyan, I think. So we're going to call him Ostap. Ostap. Can't even pronounce that, so we're going to call it 24. Ostap Exabar. Yeah, there we go. Look. Boom. Ostap Exabar. If you want a name, you can just message me on here and I'll give you a name too. Okay. We'll just play name games all day. Yeah, I mean the orc one would be way better, wouldn't it? So let's have a look for what would be. Let's have a quick look at that. I realise I'm not asking any questions about competitive 40k, but I feel like this is pretty competitive. You've got to get your name generator on point, yeah? So, what is it? Something of the beast. Let's have a look at the orc names. I bet these are way better. So, Brian, I've got a new name for you now. Your name is going to be Brian. Can we get in there? Here we go. So, Brian's new name. 42. Erlag. No, that's too good. We can't call him that. No. Erlag World Killer. That's your new name, Brian. Yeah, there we go. Right, so anyway, getting back to tank aces and what Guard got from the old Psychic Awakening. What's it called? Greater Good again. Let's find it on the old iBooks. So, some new regimental doctrines. How many have they got there? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new regimental doctrines. We're not going to cover those. But we are going to have a quick look at these tank aces. Now, how tank aces work is if an Astra Militarum character is your warlord, rather than determining a warlord trait for that model, you can instead select one tank ace ability. Okay, so this is actually instead of a warlord, not a relic, which is new. Because I think most of the other times it's been a relic. So a tank ace is actually a warlord trait. All right, cool. To do so, before the battle begins, select an Astra Militarum vehicle model without the Brood Brothers keyword from your army and select a tank ace ability from the corresponding list. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So it's 1 CP. So it's 1 CP. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select one Astra Militarum vehicle model from your army. That model can be given a tank ace ability from the corresponding list below. Named characters cannot. So if I'm reading this right, you can either swap it for a warlord trait or spend a CP for a warlord trait or for a tank ace. Yeah. It says here you can either select it, and there's a stratagem here as well to take one as well. So you could have a normal warlord trait and this. Now, could be completely wrong, but I think this is how I interpret this from my first glance. So, main battle tank aces. This is for Lehman Russes. Master Mechanic, reduce the damage by 1. I mean, we've seen that to be pretty strong with the old Watchman jobs, Dreadnoughts, and that can be quite useful. Slow and purposeful in your shooting phase. When resolving an attack made by this model, if you did not move or moved a distance less than half, which you're probably doing anyway, remember, because that means you can double fire your top gun, you re-roll wound rolls of 1. That's quite good. So you're basically your own built-in lieutenant. I like that. Then we've got Weapon Expert. Improve the AP by 1. That's really good. And that's obviously just a turret. But so now your battle tank is -3, which is really the sweet spot in this day and age is -3. Because a lot of things out there now that can ignore -2. So Grey Knights, Sisters, Salamanders can ignore some, I think, -1, but yeah. So, Armored Rush. In your shooting phase, this model can shoot with turret weapons it is equipped with, even if it advanced this turn. Okay, that's all right. But again, you're only going to be firing that once, really. But it does mean your Demolisher Cannons, if you're Talon, pretty good. This model's a 2+ save. Nah. Tank Commander can issue 1 additional tank order. Again, useful. Tank orders are good. Yeah. But you can't. I need to have a look at tank orders. It's been a while, but I don't know if you can stack 2 tank orders on the same tank. Don't think you can. Yeah. Then you've got supporting aces. This is for Wyverns, Basilisks, Hydras, Manticores, or Death Strikes. Do not determine the damage. They have their maximum damage, so basically damage 3. That's good for your Basilisks. Shattering of Will, or Shatter of Will. Subtract 2 from the leadership. Nope, we're not doing that one. Well-stocked magazines. When determining the type, you can re-roll any of the dice. That's okay. So that's for your number of shots. And then you've got the super heavy aces, which is for your Titanic one. Some of them at morale. We're not going to worry about that. This model receives a benefit of cover until the first time it moves in the battle. Not sure. Steadfast Leviathan. If your army is battle forged, this model gains the regimental doctrine. I like that. Yes, I like that a lot. Yes, that's very nice. So yeah, there's some pretty cool little tank cases, I think, now. And instead of some warlord traits, I'd probably be going for the, depending on the matchup. Then remember, because it acts like a warlord trait, you can declare which one you want. But I'm probably going for the extra minus AP. And I'd probably put that on the Hammer of Sunderance battle cannon, I think. I'd go for that. And then, so that becomes -3 damage. Or if I didn't need -3 and -2 was enough, then I'd probably go for reroll 1s to wound. That's probably what I would do with him. And I think there is also a cheeky little stratagem in there somewhere to get some other benefits. So I'll have a quick look. For 1 CP, you can get it to shoot. That's got uses its top row. Yeah, that's quite nice. In case it gets, you know, like whittled down a little bit. Okay, use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Lehman Russ model from your army is chosen to shoot with until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a weapon by that model against a vehicle unit, do not roll the determined type characteristics of that weapon. It is maximum value. So we're talking heavy, you know, D6 shot. So if you're firing that twice, because it does say use this stratagem in your shooting phase until the end of that phase. Now remember, you shoot and then you have to shoot again. So that means as long as you're going boom at a vehicle, you get to fire that 12 shots -3 damage. I really like that. Yeah, very nice. And then you use the old Talon, move back and hide again. Lovely, lovely jubbly. Yeah, cool. So what else? I'm going to just jump in the chat now and answer some of your questions. Do G-Sealers have a name generator? Not sure. Not sure. JP Wargaming, evening, Colonel Payne. Looking forward to training night. Go for a random name for me. Oh, JP wants one. Okay. So I'm just going to use the guard one because that's where I'm at the moment. But I think you are like, I think you, JP, you can be from Valhalla. Okay, so here we go. We've got 25. Tyvosk. The Tyvosk. Trevinska. Tyvosk Trevinska. That's your new name. Okay. C10O. Will this style of stream continue once lockdown is over, but a weekly or bi-weekly schedule instead of daily? Well, I mean, if the demand is there, then who knows? Who knows what will be? Who knows? Maybe could do it like once a week, perhaps. Yeah, I could do it. Well, I do enjoy talking to you guys, actually. Yeah. So maybe we'll do it once a week or twice. I don't think I can do every day. Be a bit much. So I like the full payload one on Basilisks. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm a Tyrannid. I'm the Ancient Butcher. Yeah, that's nice. That's the Ancient Butcher. Yeah. Vanguard Tactics. I bought the rules and army list for Mechanicum in Horus Heresy, so I guess we have to play some of that when I get to England next. Well, I don't have any Horus Heresy models, Brian. So, and I do really like the AdMech Horus Heresy models. They look sick. Like there's that robot that just looks amazing. Yeah. Ryan said, ahoy, hope you're doing well, dude. Quick question, Ari, the combat phase. I have seen you say a number of times that is your favorite. Why is this? Because the combat phase, in my opinion, is the most advanced and highest skill level of play needed to really play the game at the top level, is what I'm trying to say. So you can either do combat really badly or you can do combat extremely well. Whereas the shooting phase, as long as you're in range, so to shoot, to be effective in the shooting phase, all you need to do is go, you look at your matchup and you go, right, this is my profile of my weapon, and this is the target, you know, their toughness, wounds, armor save. Yeah. You look at that and you look at that. Well, you still have to do that in combat, bear in mind. You still have to do weapon selection. So once weapon selection is the same, yeah, across, you just got different weapons to look at. But the difference is with shooting, you go, cool, what's my range? Yeah, I'm in range, or I'll move and then I'm in range of this target. So then it just becomes a case of, right, I need to shoot that one first because it's only got, and again, we can go into like more detail, the order in which you shoot, but it literally goes, well, this unit here has got one option, so I'll fire that, because if someone else kills it, it's got no option. So that will shoot that because it's only got one option. Right, okay, that's gone. Right, this one's got two options, so I'm going to put it into that one because I don't think I'll kill it, but then the next unit can then finish that one off. All right, it kind of works like that. Whereas combat, there's a lot more interactions going on. There's, do I want to pile into that one? Do I want to fight twice here? Do I want to wrap? Do I want to kill? Do I need to string models back? Can I pile in and maximize my movement to get there? Like, it's a challenge to get to combat. But when you do get to combat, it's so much more rewarding, right? So the difference here is that two Death Company models with Thunderhammers can literally do the same amount of damage as spending 2 CPs on that Hammer of Sunderance, right? So if I've got 5 Death Company, I don't have to really spend any CPs to get them to do what they need to. So your risk reward is so much higher in combat, and that's why I really like it. Yeah, because when it goes off, you're like, boom, now it's quality. When it doesn't, you're like, that's a problem. So you learn a lot more from the combat phase, I think. And then you can like work out your movements a little bit more. You can cover the board. You can, you know, change the tempo of the game. Do you want to speed it up, slow it down? Yeah, there's so much more cool stuff going on for me. So that's why I love it. Yeah. That's cool, just to get in there with a big old chainsaw and do some damage. Brian and Joaquin talking about robots and stuff. Yeah. Stephen Carpenter, I feel I should ask the soup question as it hasn't come up today. So here goes. Tomato or chicken noodle, which is best? I don't like chicken noodle soup. And I don't really like tomato soup either. So I prefer, my favorite soup is a like a sort of beef and vegetable soup. Yeah, that's kind of what I like. Good amount of protein in there, you know? Yeah. Right, I would love to see some more of the Mechanicus stuff in 40k. So would I. I would love it if they just went, right, all these cool models, they've got 40k rules, and I'll be like, I'm in. Fully in. Yeah. Ross Hicks has said, rules question. Okay. What text allows me to select a unit that has either advanced or is within an inch of an enemy unit model with which to shoot? Raw, advanced to combat invalidates unit for selection. Rules question. What text allows me to select a unit that has either advanced or is within an inch of an enemy unit / model which to shoot. Ross, I need you to explain your question again, if that's all right. Yeah, can you please just clarify your question for me, because I'm struggling a little bit to digest what you're asking, all right? And then I'll come back to you. But because I'd love to help you out with that, because I think rules questions are really important to clear up. Wayne, try saying that after a drink. I'm not sure what that was referring to. Joaquin, I'd definitely make an army. Okay, so then we've got here. Brian said, Ross Hicks, the weapon itself allows them to be chosen. Why would pistol or assault exist as a separate rules entry unless they were the case? Yeah. So it'll be on the, so if you're asking what allows you to advance and shoot, then it's actually the weapon itself. So it'll be on assault weapons. The ruling will be on that particular bit there. It will say, so if there's ever like a wording in the rule book and then there's something else in the game that then says something to contradict it, go with the thing that says it contradicts it. Like Harlequins, you can't normally fall back in charge. Okay, but Harlequins can do that because it says it on their data sheet. So the data sheet will override the rulebook. So a weapon data sheet will override the rulebook if it can do something that functions outside the normal game parameters. Okay. Primarily, what are the main synths when looking at your stratagems to stay away from the red herrings, as you say? Or main sins when looking at your stratagems. So you want something that is, I always say this is like one of my mantras, okay, and words to live by. Swap CPs for VPs, okay? So what that means is you're going to swap your command points by spending by using stratagems to secure yourself more victory points. Okay, so if you're spending CPs solely to increase your damage, but it's not actually going to gain you any victory points by doing that, then it's probably a poor use of stratagem. Okay, as my go-to. So sometimes spending 2 CPs to auto pass morale on a unit can be very, very powerful if that means you then get the kill more and it stops your opponent getting a kill. That is a 2-point swing on the tabletop. That's amazing. Because if you think about it, you start the battle with 10 command points averagely. And if you could swap all of those for a victory point for each, that means you're going to be up by 10 victory points over your opponent. Okay? If they're just trying to do more damage output. Because it doesn't actually matter if you don't have many models left at the end of the game. What matters most is who had the most points. So always think, are the victory points that I'm intending to play going to actually impact and change the game state in any way? If the answer is no, then cool, use it in a fluffy game where you're just throwing down some dice with your mates and you want your buffed up character to go and play Hero Hammer and smash some people's teeth in, by all means. But general principles, competitive play, you want consistent, it's not even a word, consistent, reliable results, okay? Lauren Burns has said, if you were starting a Deathwatch army, what would your initial purchase be? Right, I can tell you this straight away. So it'd be 3 get started boxes. It would then probably be 1 Space Wolf box set, the get started one. And then it'd probably be some way to get the Inceptors, like 3 Inceptors just with the bolt rifles. And then if there's one of those little cheeky boxes, which are like the easy build boxes, which get aggressors in and Inceptors in, I would definitely do that. Because then I've got 3 units of veterans, and I'd probably buy 1 box of, what would I need as well? Because I'd probably have enough storm shields. Oh, I need a box of bikes, a box of Terminators, and a Vanguard Veteran Squad. Then I'd have enough shields. I'd have enough bolt gun bits to make enough Storm Bolter equivalents. I'd have 3 Dreadnoughts. I'd have enough characters then to do what I needed to. That's 4 get started boxes, and then maybe 3 other subs, like a Terminator box, Bike box, Vanguard Vet box. And I think you're pretty good to go then. Yeah, typically. And then maybe some Inceptors, if you can add those in as well. And then you've got like 5, and then you need kind of like 15 intercessors. You get 10 in the Space Wolf box. So then you'd need one of those, like I said, one of those little add-on boxes, like easy to build. So 5 intercessors, a couple of aggressors in there, and then a couple more inceptors. And then you've got 6 units of veterans. You've got 3 units of 10 regular Joes, with a bike per squad, a Vanguard Vet per squad, and a Terminator per squad, or Terminator or 2 per squad. And then you've got 3 units then of aggressor and intercessor builds. And then you've got 3 dreadnoughts. And then you've got enough characters. You'd have 4 characters. You run double battalion of that. And I think that's starting to look like a pretty decent little army there, I think. Yeah. And then maybe just throw in a Leviathan, because why not? Yeah. But then you need another heavy support choice. So maybe a Repulsor Executioner. Yeah. Maybe add that in. Yeah. Got some options. There's some options there in Deathwatch. And I'll be doing a full review next week of Deathwatch, to see if I can put together some tasty stuff when the new White Dwarf magazine comes out. But you've already got a little bit of a sneak peek of what I'm thinking there. So, yeah, you've got a bit of an idea of direction. Well, there's been loads of questions. Sorry, guys, I've got a bit lost now. Bear with me, please. So Ross has said the weapon rules say that they can be used if the squad is advanced/combat, not that you are allowed to select an invalid squad/unit. So right, I'm going to just get the rule book. Now, bear in mind, guys, right? You have to think about it, that there are rules that are written word by word, but it's not always played like that, okay? It's more about interpretation, or commonly played as. I would say they're 3 different things. Rules as written, rules as intended, and let's be honest, we're not really sure of the intention. That's why I don't really like rules as intended, because some people go, yeah, but that's not how they intended it to be played. Like some people will say about that, about wrapping and trapping. Yeah, but GW don't intend the game to be played that way. How do you know? Unless you wrote that rule, you do not know how it's truly intended, okay? However, commonly played, different one, because we kind of know commonly played in the tournament scene by, again, competition players. Like if let's say me and, let's say I sat down with Nick Nanavati, right? And we went through 100 different rules. I bet you, commonly played as, we would agree on 99% of them. And there might just be a slight different meta between American and UK, maybe. But I bet that's the case. Like I don't really ever have any like rules disagreements with players like Nick or anyone like I've ever come across. It's normally come across people that maybe don't play in tournaments, who play in their local friends group or club, and then they try and do things in a tournament. And I'm like, that's not how that's done, commonly played. The example is, I've got one for you, Maelstrom cards. Okay, so I had the disagreement with somebody, and it was completely cool. I just said, look, can we just get a TO just to clarify? Because they played it one way, I played it another. And what he'd done was you can discard cards, right? So what he did was he discarded the cards where he could see that, and this was a time before you did deck building, all right? So he looked at the table and thought, right, so I was on in my half objectives 3, 6, and well, let's say I was on objectives 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and there's 6 objectives on the field. Let's just say objectives 1, 2, and 3 were in my deployment. He had 4, 5, and 6. So he decided went through his pack and he got rid of all secures and defends that were 1, 2, 3. And I said, you can't do that. You need to discard your cards before you technically get to the table. And normally they have to go on your list. Okay. So, and that's what you have to do for the WTCs. You have to write down which cards you are going to discard. All right. So that means you cannot just look at the table and go, well, you're on that one, so I'm not going to do that. But that's obviously how he and his mates have played it. And I completely get why, because it is rubbish. Like, he's looking at it and I completely sympathize as to why they play in that way. And I kind of like it from if I was just playing with my mates, well, you're probably not going to, it wouldn't make sense to defend my own ones, or like, it wouldn't make any sense, to defend your ones, because you need to defend your ones, I need to defend my ones. So I kind of get that, yeah? But that's just not how it's played in a tournament. So that's where this commonly played, I'm going to coin that, because I don't think that's a rules iteration commonly played as. But let's have a, anyway, I'm not going to look at it, because I'm just going to tell you what's commonly played as. If you've got an assault weapon and you advance, you can still shoot it. If you're in combat and you've got a pistol, you can still shoot it. Okay, so that's pretty much commonly played how it's done. So that's my little words of wisdom there, or whatever, words of madness, maybe. Yeah. So, what are any combat units you like for AdMech? Dragoons are good. Electro priests are okay. I really like punchy robots if they just had some way to get better to hit on. I like punchy robots, and they're good. But yeah, they hit on 4s, which is a problem with them. Mike, how you doing, mate? Good morning. What do you hope to see from Engine War? Oh, loads of good stuff for the AdMech. Yeah, like I want punchy robots to be a thing. So any way that we can help them, like +1 to hit would be great on them. What else from Engine War? I don't know, really. Obviously, they're getting new units, so it's going to be interesting just to see what they add to the meta before anything else. I would love to see a rework of Canticles. I don't think that's a very good thing. They're just not really you never go, oh, that's really good. You're like, oh, great, that unit's got reroll 1s to hit in combat, or that I'm rolling that, oh, it's the mortal wound within an inch. You're like, well, that's not happening then. So I don't know. I'd like that to be a little bit reworked a little bit more. But obviously, it was one of the first codexes, so they're still playing around at this point in time. Yeah, to see where the power of it is. So where are we now in the chat? Lord General Grightpain, how you doing? What's better to suit my scions? -1 AP on all the weapons, troop, melee, vehicles, or +6 range on infantry? I would go for the -1 AP. At least when you come down and you can shoot, you actually do something. Because you don't probably need the range if you're coming down, and you're going to get quite close anyway with those scions. You may as well. But if you're going for plasma, probably don't bother. But if you're just going for your regular hot shots, I think only -2 to get up to -3 would be quite nice, and then it'd make your vehicles a little bit better as well. Because I love those transports, by the way. Like, one of my favorite transport units is those things. I just think they're wicked. Yeah, well, I can't remember what they're called now. Taurox things. They look so cool. Shrek is said hi. Well, I've never had. Welcome, Shrek. Yeah. Didn't realize you were watching YouTube, Shrek, but yeah, well, you even have internet, to be honest. Hi. If I was to start collecting corn, how do I know which ones to get? Do you mean corn demons or corn like red butchers? Yeah, like Chaos Space Marine corn, or Do you mean demon corn? Because they're quite different. Let me know. Ryan said, cheers, mate. Thanks for making total sense. I was thinking about weapon selection for combat with the intention of wrapping. Can decide for my troop to attack with their base stat line. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can always just attack with your stat baseline. Yeah. Jack has said, did you add the painting YouTube links in the chat yesterday? I think I missed them. No, I didn't. Paul actually didn't message me them, so I didn't add them. But you can definitely check out my mate Andy's Cult of Paint, okay? And he's going to be coming on the podcast with me and Mark this week, and we're going to do an interview with him. But Andy is a quality painter, and he just explains things so well, and his video tutorials are incredible. So yeah, definitely check out Cult of Paint. Brian said, Vanguard Tactics, is it the Rakhdar question rules interpretation from last year we've talked about? I can't remember which one that was. Can you remind me? I remember it being a good question at the time with, like, you know, ways to debate it. So Rez Platoon said, hi, Stephen, 2 questions. 1, how do you physically and mentally prepare for sustaining a 3-game-a-day tournament? 2, any insights on TTS games? So I'm not really familiar with TTS, to be honest. So, you know, it's not really kind of my place to talk much about TTS, to be honest. And for me, really, like, I love Warhammer because I enjoy the aspect of the modeling. I enjoy to be able to physically hold my models, and I love to be able to just play with my mates face to face. Yeah, like the real battle of the minds right there. Enjoying, you know, obviously like a diet beverage or something, you know, and just having a laugh with it. Whereas I don't think, and I love to be able to see my models on the table that I spent ages painting. And also the most important thing is it gets me off my computer. So I will typically sit in this chair for maybe 10 hours a day, okay? And I want something that gets me off this chair, gets me off my phone, gets me away from my computer, because then I can chill. But playing a video game, I know it's different now with this whole COVID-19, and we've got to try and keep ourselves busy and active. But yeah, that's kind of why I don't really want to play it, if I'm honest, because I want to keep Warhammer the special thing it is. And that's just me personally. That's my own personal opinion on it. I appreciate, again, everyone's got to play the game in their own way. Yeah. But I would prefer it if GW brought out a version of it. Yeah, I'd definitely get and support that then. But the first question was 2 questions. How do you physically and mentally prepare for sustaining a 3-game tournament? So number 1 is mentally, I have goals. Okay. Now I was talking to Jack, Mark, and Dan earlier, and Ben and Joe, who's in our little Vanguard Tactics headquarters chat, and basically we were talking about how for us now, competitive 40k is enjoyable, but the thing that's enjoyable about it isn't trying to take the most janky, crazy list build and trying to win the event. The thing that we enjoy most is just going away for the weekend and having a laugh, talking about mistakes we made, the games we did well, the games that went badly. That's what we enjoy the most, is just getting together in our community of competitive players and just having a really good time with it. So I'm just going to shut this blind. So that's what we enjoy most. Now, so that's mentally I'm going in with, that's my number 1 goal. I just got to enjoy this tournament. So if something's going to come in between me and enjoying that tournament, I ain't going to do it, right? So I've said before, I said on the yellow card video, if I ever was to play against this certain individual again, and this was happened, bear in mind, I said I would do this even before this actually happened. I said I'd just forfeit the game because I knew that that individual would stop me from enjoying the game, right? I go to a Warhammer event to enjoy the game. So I have a route. My A to B is, I'm currently here. And I know by going to that event, it's going to improve my happiness. So therefore, something gets in the way of that, I'm not going to let it, okay? So I said I would just forfeit it. I'm not interested, right? It's a tournament. I lose some points. I don't care. I'll go to another one and I'll pick them up there if that's what I was just interested in. So, but I was specifically asked not to. And I agreed to because I was requested not to by the organization. So I played it, and I'll be honest, I still regret playing that game, right? I do. Like, it got in the way of my happiness. It ruined my weekend, yeah? The only good thing that came out of that video was the fact that a lot more TOs now are taking the code of conduct much seriously, which is a really good thing. And I've done lots of consultancy for different event organizations and that stuff, which has been great. And, you know, I've kind of become the spokesperson for sportsmanship and really starting that conversation. But yeah, well, I'll never let anything get in the way of my happiness. So that's how I prepare for it mentally. Physically, I'll need to do a whole video on that because that's a whole different ball game. But yeah, we can talk about that one day as well. So where are we now in the chat? Oh, try saying JP's new name after a drink. I can't remember what it was now, actually. Ross has said, a model with an assault weapon can fire it even if it is advanced early that turn. It doesn't say that you can select the unit, only fire the unit. That is valid. Ross, move on. Okay, buddy? You're going to spend all day with that one. Move on. Just move on. Yeah. I understand. Oh, he's put later on, I've understood the intent and play it. Yeah, rules as intended. Yeah, I mean, that's it, mate. Sometimes you just got to go with it. You really have to. Just got to go with it. Yeah. Lucas said here, Wayne said, I thought Stephen's mantra was, I said it before and I'll say it again, stay pure. Well, I mean, that's another mantra, okay? A man can have many mantras, okay? So when it comes to CPs, that's my mantra. And then when it comes to Blood Angels, you've got another mantra, okay? So you've got different mantras for different things. Right, okay, so where are we now? Wow. So many questions. Okay, so Lauren Burns has said, question... I've missed so many things. Wow. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, cool. So Thomas said, nice hat, still not letting your sister cut your hair. Absolutely not. How long till it's time? Well, no, we got a bit of time left. I mean, the quiff is getting strong now. It's more like the edges getting all wispy and stuff. You know, this needs a trim that off. Yeah. But I did message my hairdresser and I was like, look, as soon as you're open, I'm getting the first spot available, okay? I got videos to do, you know? So they're going to book me in when they're open. So Ross has said again, seemed like an interesting rules topic, and absolutely, yeah, and it has actually been a valid topic. In your question alone, it's helped me come up with the whole, you know, commonly played as thing. So I think it's been a great question, mate. So keep them coming. Honestly, keep them coming. I'd rather you guys throw questions into this chat where I can help you in a non-judgmental, you know, like, I'm not going to, like, there's nothing to be gained by you there's nothing in terms of a debate. It's not like you're trying to win a game against me because you're asking me this. So when you get to a tournament or you get to a game, you can play in the way that it's meant to be played, right? Which is why these lives in question Q&As are so valuable, so that when you get to the table, you don't have to have that disagreement if you play it differently to somebody else, okay? And then you could always just use the same words that I've used, which typically go down pretty well at a tournament. You know, it's all about, like, before I play someone, I have a bit of a pre-game spiel so that we're both on the same page. And that's really important as well. So 45 minutes already. Jacob said, for my army to get best in faction, I can't have any allies, or is that just points? Yeah, you have to have a pure faction to get best in faction. Joe has said, can you explain the rules for the way certain close combat characters always fights first, except for when the enemy charges and you're supposed to take turns? So let's say you've got a character with always fights first, and your army gets charged by an opponent with 2 units. So the players whose turn it will be, okay, will always get the priority pick. So they get to pick their unit first, right? So they'll pick charging unit. So let's say you've got charging unit A and charging unit B. How it would go is the player's turn gets the priority. So they would pick charging unit A. The captain then can then go, and then charging unit B would go. Yeah. If, however, you had 3 charging units, you had charging unit A, B, and C, and then you had a character with always fights first, you could technically go with A first. So priority turn, charging priority goes with A. You could then fight with the character next, and then he could go. Then charging unit B could go next, and then you could spend 2 CPs to interrupt, and then another unit of the defending player who's being charged could go before charging unit C. So therefore, you've got 2 units fighting before charging unit C. Yeah. So Brian Ross, you don't need to disagree, by the way. Just, it's a relatively interesting conversation, difference between rules as written and rules as intended. Yeah. So Lauren has said, question about Beacon Jealous, how it's played at tournament level. Can it be used in the same turn as the bearer is teleported or drops in? I ask both raw and say at the end of the movement. So I'll literally find it and I'll tell you. Deathwatch, I think it's on my iBooks account. Here we go, Beacon and Jealous. So once per battle, at the end of your movement phase, the bearer can use the Beacon and Jealous to teleport a friendly unit to its position. When he does so, select a Deathwatch infantry or biker unit that is either on the battlefield or that is in a teleportarium. In either case, remove this unit and then set it up wholly within 6 inches of the bearer. So for me, because it's at the end of the battlefield, at the end, they both happen at the same time, but because it's your turn, you can prioritize which one happens first. So you can bring him in, yeah, and then you can do it. So you can prioritize that order, yeah, because until you actually start your shooting phase, it's still the end of the movement phase, yeah. That's how I would interpret that, but I could be wrong on that one. But yeah. So what else have we got here? Best chapter for Space Marine Dreadnought spam list. Iron Hands. Definitely Iron Hands. Yeah. And you just take the little Master of Forge that gives all Dreadnoughts like some buffs and stuff, or I think it's +1 attack, +1 strength. Or no, maybe you can go for +1 ballistic skill with them, depending if you go more combat or shooty. But yeah, definitely Iron Hands, yeah. Because then you can go Ironstone on one, use the other thing on another. First turn you can move without the penalties. You get the 6-up, feel no pain. Yeah, definitely the best way. So yeah, last year at a tournament after the masterclass, you played in round 1. Your response at the time was, why would the rule exist if it wasn't be able to play that way? Yeah, exactly. So I always kind of think, yeah, that's kind of the way that I would look at things. Is if there is something that stipulates something later on, it's probably there for a reason. And yeah, just kind of go with, put yourself in the rule designer's shoes at all times to think, what would I kind of want out of this for a balanced, fair game so that's interesting? Yeah, because when you're giving like your like overall like highlights, you've got to just, I think when you're trying to write a rule book, like this would be me, you want to streamline it as quickly as you possibly can and then just add in other bits of minutia to tie it in to make it a little bit more interesting or a little bit more varied. But yeah, you want to get the main of it, bulk of it done, so it's easier to use like statements that then may sound strange later on, which is why obviously if there was to be a new edition, I would expect I wouldn't expect a whole remit, because people have asked me before about the whole 9th thing. You know, it's a case of, I don't think we're going to have a big change. I think we're just going to have a little tighten up on some of the wording, right? And that's pretty much all it needs, really. Yeah. Andy said, thoroughly recommend getting yourself on a Cult of Paint course. Absolutely, yeah, recommend the same. Right, so guys, I really appreciate all the questions. I'm going to leave that there because it's been 50 minutes. And I have an hour before the Vanguard Tactics Academy training night starts. So, and I started work at 8 today. So it's been a long day already. Yes. So today is my, for my nutrition and training business, I do phone calls all day. And actually me and, what is his YouTube name? R. McKee. Who has, or Armakey Reptiles, who's in the chat, is his YouTube name. We had a really good chat today because Armakey Reptiles joined the VP Academy. So there's 5 places every month. Now they have all sold out for this month of April, but obviously in 3 days' time, I'll be taking on 5 more people for the VIP Academy. So literally, yeah, in 2 days' time, it's May, 5 more spaces for the VIP Academy, rock up. And so me and Armakey Reptiles had a really good chat about his sisters list. We went over, and I use like a screen share. So I use a whiteboard and I went over how to deploy all the different units. We then looked at game strategy from games, you know, turn 1 to turn 2 to turn 3. We then looked at model placement as well, actually in deployment. So we went like a macro level to a micro level in terms of model placement. And that's really what we focused on today, really. So already I think he's took loads away just from that phone call that you get if you join the VIP program. And you also get full access to the academy. So normally the modules are released every 4 weeks, so it gives you time to digest it. And also if you're paying monthly, it means somebody can't just watch the whole course in a day and then go, cool, right, just cheers then, Steve. I'll, you know, enjoy trying to make a business like that. So that doesn't work, so which is why it's on a time release, okay? But the academy, you save a lot of money by doing that over the course of a year. And it's for people that really want to accelerate their knowledge. So Armakey Reptiles play Sisters, and I go over Sisters at like module 6 on like play styles, optimum builds and stuff like that, some cool combos. So he can dive straight into that, although we only joined this month, which is really cool. So yeah, there'll be 5 more VIP spaces going live on, in a couple of days, basically. So if you want a VIP space, let me know. All you've got to do is email me at steven@vanguardtactics.com. Shoot me an email, and if you want one of those VIP spaces, you can get on the waiting list now, and they'll be first come, first serve. So anyone that's emailed me, I've actually got one person that's already on that waiting list. And then as the 1st of May, I'll email everyone out, and it'll be first come, first serve for that, okay? Okay, so last question then. Aaron said, hi, Steve, quick question regarding fighting on hills in Deep Strike. As I understand it, if a model is standing on a hill, let's say 2 inches high as per LGT terrain, you can still fight at the bottom, charging that unit. It's my understanding that you can fight at the bottom of the hill, but still need to make the charge distance. Absolutely. So as long as you make that charge of that 2 inches, you can just leave your model at the bottom, okay? So we don't want in the game unchargeable units. And again, that's a difference between rules is written and commonly played as, okay? We do not want unchargeable units. It's not good for the game where you can just fill out a terrain piece and go, cool, yeah, can't get me. Like, that's not cool. That's not fun. So, yeah. Right, anyway, that's all for today. That's nearly an hour. Wow. So I need to go on a walk. Had my protein shake for dinner. Had a little dinner today. But I had a good breakfast and lunch, so just had a bit of a quick dinner, and then tomorrow, I'm going to go for my walk now, probably get a good 45 minutes in, and see you guys tomorrow, all right? Anyway, take care, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all tomorrow for more 40K questions. And go look at some rules. Let's have tomorrow we'll do a rules question day, so any question you have about rules, I'm going to do my best to tackle them all tomorrow, okay? So bring the worst rules to me, and I'll see what I can do. All right, that's your challenge. Who can bring me the worst rule that I can clarify? Yeah, or try and stump me. Try and stump me with a rule. That's your challenge. See you later.